Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a story that's not just ancient, but, well, incredibly profound, straight from the epic Ramayana.
Mhm.
It's a narrative that speaks volumes about devotion, patience, and the true, often misunderstood meaning of an offering.
Absolutely.
We've been looking at excerpts from Shabari's devotion, a Ramayana tale, as our guide. Our mission for this deep dive really is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from this beautiful narrative. We want to explore what it teaches us about love, intention, and truly seeing beyond the obvious.
Yeah.
So, as we embark on this journey, I'm curious. When we talk about what makes a gift or an act truly valuable, do you think it's about the outward perfection or something far deeper?
That's a crucial question, right? Because what's truly fascinating here is how this seemingly simple story from an ancient epic um, radically challenges our common assumptions about what is considered worthy or acceptable in any
Oh,
exchange.
so.
Well, it doesn't just speak to, but fundamentally redefines a universal truth about the heart of genuine devotion and value. We'll be introduced to some pivotal figures today. Shabari, a simple Balani Kanya.
Which translates to a tribal girl, right?
Exactly, a tribal girl.
Yep.
And of course the divine figures, Lord Ram and his brother, Lakshman. This narrative forces us to confront an important question right from the start. In a world often focused on grandeur, perfection, and, strict adherence to protocol, where does pure, unadulterated love and intention truly fit in? And how is it valued?
Exactly. The story begins in ancient times in the serene hermitages where sages and their disciples practiced austerities, lived lives of contemplation, and sought spiritual enlightenment.
Hmm.
But our focus isn't on the grandest of these sages or their most revered disciples. Our spotlight falls squarely on Shabri.
Yeah, that's key.
This is a crucial detail that's often overlooked, I think, but it powerfully highlights her incredibly humble origin. She was a tribal girl, as you mentioned, a Pilani Kanya, with an unshakable, profound devotion to Lord Ram. Her faith wasn't just a fleeting thought, it was the very essence of her being, a constant burning flame within her.
And that background, her tribal origin, is incredibly significant. I mean, in the traditional societal structures of ancient India, a Balani Kanya would typically be considered on the periphery,
Right, sort of outside the main centers.
far removed from the Brahminical centers of ritual and formal worship, yeah. And this fact makes her story even more revolutionary, really. It highlights a core tenet of Bhakti devotional spiritualism, which often emphasizes that sincere faith and love can transcend social hierarchies and ritualistic norms.
It's a bit of a surprising source for such a lesson.
It is a surprising fact, in a way, that such a powerful spiritual lesson would come from a figure often marginalized by society rather than, say, a learned sage. It immediately sets the stage for a narrative that champions inner purity over outward status.
That's a powerful observation. So, with this unwavering devotion, Shabri harbored a single powerful thought, a burning desire within her heart for years.
Years, yeah.
When will the Lord come, and when will I feed him fruits filled with my love? This wasn't a passing wish. It was a daily, consuming anticipation. And she didn't just passively wait, hoping he might stumble upon her. She was actively preparing day in and day out.
Right, that's the dedication.
She would go into the forest, pluck berries one by one, and meticulously taste each one. What does that tell us about the nature of her devotion? That kind of love that drives such a singular, relentless act.
That image of her, day after day, tasting berries. It truly paints a picture of devotion that transcends the ordinary. It's a profound demonstration of anticipatory love and relentless, selfless service, even without the immediate presence of the beloved.
So she's preparing, constantly.
She wasn't just expecting him, she was actively preparing for it, preparing an offering that she felt would be worthy of his divine presence for what must have felt like an eternity. Now, her act of tasting the berries, it might seem unconventional, even inappropriate by many conventional or ritualistic standards of offering.
Where pristine, untouched purity is paramount, yeah.
Exactly. Some might even argue it was a kind of defilement.
So if someone adhering strictly to ritual purity were watching her, they might be quite shocked.
Absolutely. From a purely ritualistic perspective, an offering must be unblemished, untouched by human consumption before it reaches the deity. To taste it first would be seen as a transgression.
Okay.
But this is precisely where the story offers its profound challenge. Shabri's act of tasting reveals an extraordinary depth of care, a desire to ensure that her Lord experienced only joy and sweetness from her offering.
Ah, Right.
It's not about strict adherence to an external rule. It's about the undeniable purity of her intention. She wasn't trying to gain anything or impress anyone. She simply wanted to ensure her Lord experienced the very best, through her eyes and her love. This raises an important question for us and perhaps a gentle challenge. How often do our conventional rules, or even just our social norms and expectations, inadvertently overshadow the genuine heartfelt intention behind an act? Are we sometimes too quick to judge the packaging rather than the heart within?
That's a vital point, and it sets the stage perfectly for what happens next. After all those years of unwavering devotion and meticulous unconventional preparation, the day finally arrived.
Finally.
Lord Ram, along with his brother Lakshman, reached Shabari's humble hermitage during their period of exile in the forest. Can you just imagine the culmination of a lifetime of longing?
It must have been overwhelming.
Shabari was understandably overwhelmed with emotion. The sheer joy must have been an incredible release. She ran to them, her heart overflowing, and immediately fell at Lord Ram's feet, completely overcome with gratitude and adoration. And with trembling hands, a lifetime of devotion pouring through her, she offered them the berries she had so painstakingly collected and, yes, tasted.
Very ones.
These were not just any fruits, these were the fruits, the ones she had been saving, the very best of the best, chosen with utmost care and imbued with years of anticipation and pure love. They were her life's offering, perfectly ripe and sweet because she had personally ensured their quality.
And what's truly illuminating here is the immediate, very human reaction to this scene, especially from Lakshman.
Yes, Lakshman.
Observing this, he was, quite naturally, astonished, even a little horrified. His initial thought, reflecting common societal norms and expectations around offerings, was, and I quote directly from the source, "Brother, these are half-eaten fruits. How can you accept them?"
Right. The standard reaction, maybe?
Lakshman's reaction is entirely understandable from a traditional, ritualistic, or even just a social standpoint. Offerings are typically pristine, untouched, presented in their most perfect form. He was acting according to the established protocol, the visual standard of what is proper. But this moment provides the perfect stark contrast for Ram's profoundly insightful response.
And this is where the real deep dive begins, isn't it? What Ram says next truly shifts our perspective.
Absolutely. Ram's gentle smile and his subsequent words are truly the core transformative message of this entire narrative.
Okay, what did he say?
He said, "With wisdom that transcends all superficiality. Brother Lakshman, these foods contain not just taste, but Shabari's love. This is the sweetest fruit in the world."
Wow.
This emphasizes that Ram saw beyond the external, the perceived imperfection, by conventional standards of presentation and directly into the heart of the intention.
He saw the why.
He recognized that the act of tasting was not defilement, but a testament to her pure, selfless desire for his comfort and pleasure. It fundamentally challenges the assumption that value is solely tied to material perfection or adherence to rigid ritual. It's a powerful reminder that the spirit behind the act matters far more than its outward form. So, building on that, what stands out most to you about Ram's response in this moment? How does it reframe our understanding of what truly matters in an exchange, in a gift, or in an act of service?
What strikes me is how utterly countercultural it is. I mean, even today, maybe. Ram isn't just accepting the berries, he's celebrating the intention.
Celebrating it, yes.
It's a radical act of validation for someone considered an outsider, and it completely turns the notion of wordiness on its head. It tells us that true value isn't something external or measurable by conventional standards, but something residing deeply within the intention. It's not about how perfectly you follow a rule, but how perfectly you embody love. So how do we take this profound revelation from an ancient story and apply it to our contemporary lives? Because that's the goal here.
That's the critical link, because this principle extends far beyond just religious devotion. It's fundamentally about authenticity and the spirit with which we engage with the world, with our work, and most importantly, with each other.
Authenticity.
The story of Shabari and Ram reminds us that true value often lies in the unseen, in the sincerity, the empathy, the love embedded in an act, rather than its outward form or its material cost. It compels us to look deeper, to develop a discernment that sees past the superficial.
So if we look at our own lives, perhaps in the professional world, for instance, we often strive for polished presentations, perfect resumes, or flawless execution. Does the Shabari principle suggest we might be missing something by focusing so heavily on that outward perfection?
Precisely. Consider, for example, the realm of corporate social responsibility. There's a stark difference between a company that genuinely invests in sustainable practices and community welfare from a place of conviction,
Right.
and one that merely greenwashes its image with superficial campaigns for PR purposes.
Hmm.
The outward offering might look similar, a report, a donation, but the underlying intention, the why behind it, dictates its true value and long-term impact.
Okay.
Or think about online personal branding, where everything is meticulously curated, filtered, and often presented as flawless.
Yeah, the Instagram effect.
Exactly. We're constantly bombarded with perfected images and carefully constructed narratives. How much are we potentially overlooking the Shabari's berries, those genuine, heartfelt, and deeply meaningful gestures or contributions that might appear imperfect on the surface, but carry immense weight because of the raw, authentic intention behind them?
That's a great point. It makes me think about artists, too. Some technically perfect pieces might leave us cold,
Right.
while others, perhaps less polished, resonate deeply because of the raw emotion or the clear, heartfelt intention of the creator.
Absolutely. The Shabari principle helps us assess the difference between technical mastery and genuine artistic expression. It's a lens through which we can evaluate not just art, but also leadership, public service, and even our most intimate relationships.
Leadership, yeah.
A leader might give a stirring, perfectly delivered speech, but if the intention behind it is self-serving, its true value is diminished. Conversely, a less eloquent but deeply sincere act of service can move mountains. It's about that discernment you mentioned earlier, of looking beyond the superficial to the soul of the offering.
That's a powerful challenge for us to consider. In an age where everything is so curated and often presented as flawless, it demands a different kind of perception. What tasted berries are we overlooking in our own lives simply because they don't conform to a perfect, pristine ideal?
Indeed. It asks us to reevaluate what we instinctively gravitate towards. Consider the things you truly value most in your own life. Are they always the most polished, the most expensive, the most conventional?
Probably not when I think about it.
Or are they often the ones imbued with genuine care, effort, and love, regardless of their superficial flaws?
Hmm.
Perhaps it's that slightly crooked handmade card from a child, or the quiet, consistent support of a friend who may not always say the right thing, but whose presence is unwavering.
The real stuff.
This story is an invitation to seek out and cherish those authentic, heartfelt offerings, and perhaps to cultivate that same spirit in our own interactions.
And that was our deep dive into the immortal tale of Shabari, a profound example of unwavering love, selfless devotion, and, well, a radical redefinition of what truly holds value.
A beautiful story.
We hope this exploration has given you not just some surprising insights from an ancient text, but also maybe a new lens through which to view your own world and the offerings within it.